help your brain for this morning and this rest of this day, okay? So what we're going to do is have our feet hip width apart and our arms out, and we're going to inhale with our ankles, with our hand on the inside of the ankle, inhale up, inside of the leg, inside of the breast, inside of the ear to the top of the head. Exhale down behind the ear, on the side of the body down to the outside ankle. Inhaling inside of the leg, inside of the chest, inside of the ear. Exhale behind the ear, down the side of the body. Inhale inside the breast, inside the ear, top of the head. Exhale behind the ear, down the side of the body. Inhaling up the inside of the leg, inside of the chest, inside of the ear. Exhale down the side of the body. Inhaling inside of the leg, inside of the chest, inside of the ear. Exhale behind the ear, down the side of the body. Inhale inside of the leg, inside of the chest, inside of the ear, top of the head. Exhale behind the ear, down the outside of the body. Inhale inside of the ankle, inside of the leg, inside of the chest, inside of the ear. Exhale behind the ear, down the outside of the body. Inhaling up the inside of the leg. Exhale behind the ear. Inhale inside of the leg, inside of the chest, inside of the ear, top of the head. Exhale behind the ear, down the outside of the body to the ankle. Inhale inside of the ankle up, inside of the chest, inside of the ear. Exhale behind the ear, down the outside. Inhaling up the yin. Exhale down the yang. Inhale up your yin. Y-I-N. Exhale down the yang. Y-A-N-G. Inhale up the yin. Exhale down the yang. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhaling, pulling the energy up. Exhale, pushing the energy down. Inhaling, bringing that energy up. Exhale, pulling that energy down. Inhaling inside of the leg, inside of the chest, inside of the ear, all on an inhale. Exhale, behind the ear, down the outside of the body. Inhaling up the inside of the leg, inside of the chest, inside of the ear. Exhale, behind the ear, down the side of the body. One more time, inhaling up. Last time, exhaling down. Standing and doing 3 pull down the heavens. Inhaling, arms facing the earth. Inhaling, arms facing the heavens. And making a ha sound. And doing the same movement, but intending the back of the body. Inhaling, ha. And the last time, through the center of the body. Inhaling, ah. Taking the sword fingers, the 2 peace fingers together, making a large circle in front of you that gets smaller and smaller and smaller, creating that vortex that goes into the earth and recycles and transmutes anything that's no longer serving us, any pathogenic chi or toxic chi. And that energy vortex will close when we're done. We put that intention. It's a clockwise circle if you're above the equator. It's a counterclockwise circle if you're below the equator, like Brazil. So now the other exercise we're going to do, which is really good for focus and attention, is called Kan Li, and it is in my, it's on my website on the very bottom of the home page. It's called Kan Li, K-A-N Another word, Li. And if you go to my website, sitwellness.com, you'll see this explained and written out. So for Kan Li, we're bringing that communication between the heart and the kidneys. The water element is the kidney. It's around here, so I'm going to say at this level. And the heart, which is the fire element. And what we're doing is inhaling, the water ascends and the fire descends. And we exhale, expand that energy that they create. Inhaling, the water ascends and the fire descends. It creates a divine mist. And exhale, expand. Imagine that mist it creates, nourishing all the bones and the brain. Inhaling, the fire descends from the heart and the water ascends. When they meet in the middle, you hold your breath and you feel that mist that it's creating. And exhale, feeling that mist nourish the bones, the brain, the sea of marrow. Inhaling, the fire descends from the heart, the water ascends from the kidneys. Holding the breath as it creates this divine mist. Exhale, expand. That mist is nurturing the bones and the brain. Inhale, the fire descends, the water ascends. Holding the breath, feeling that mist that it creates. Exhale, feel all the bones getting nourished by that mist. Inhaling, the fire from the heart descends, the water of the kidneys ascends. Hold the breath, that mist that it's creating from the fire and water. Exhale, feel all the bones in the brain being nourished by that divine mist. Inhaling, the fire descends, the water ascends. Holding the breath, feeling that mist that is created by the fire and water elements from the heart and the kidneys. Exhale that divine mist, nourishing the bones and the brain and the sea of marrow. Inhale, fire and water come together. Holding the breath, feel that mist that is created. Exhale, the bones and brain being nourished. Inhaling fire and water together. Exhale, divine mist, nurturing all the bones and brain. I like to imagine like a skeleton that's a glow-in-the-dark skeleton. In the times of Halloween here in America, we have those glow-in-the-dark skeletons. And if you imagine all of your bones getting bright as you spread that mist, imagine them becoming bright light blue. The color for the bones is blue. So we're nourishing the bones and the brain and the sea of marrow with this. It's very important exercise because the heart and the kidney need to have a very good communication between each other. If we're not able to focus, the heart and the kidney are not communicating well. If we're having a hard time staying in the middle path, our heart and our kidneys are not communicating well. If we have a mental imbalance or a mental illness, it's often because the heart and the fire are not communicating well. It's also very good exercise for osteoporosis. It actually will bring bone density. There are so many wonderful things about this exercise. The first exercise is incredibly good for people who just had a stroke or even after they've had a stroke for a while. This also is good for that because this brings communication in the brain. And it's also very good for the sea of marrow, building more marrow. So if someone has cancer, it's going to create more fighter T cells to go and fight that cancer. So again, imagining the heart fire and the kidney water, inhaling them together, holding the breath as that divine mist is created. Exhale, feel the bones nourished. Inhaling, fire and water come together. Holding the breath, feel that mist that they create. Exhale, expand that divine mist, nourishing the bones and the brain. Inhaling, fire and water come together. Holding the breath. Exhale, nourishing all the bones in the brain. Inhaling fire and water together. Holding that divine mist. Exhale, expand, see the bones bright blue. Inhaling, the fire element from the heart descends, the water element from the kidneys ascends. Holding the breath here, feel that mist that's created with the fire and water. Exhale, expand, nourishing the bones and the brain. Last time, seeing which kind of birds those are. We have a lot of birds in the redwoods right here. Inhaling fire and water together. Exhale, expand, nourishing the bones and the brain. Last time, inhaling fire and water together. Feel that